folks camped out the night before to get something?
I don't know how much of that still goes on with the
Yeah.
digital age, but I do know that yes, they do have spots marked out around Memorial Coliseum for
That's what I thought they had at least done in the past. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know. Usually we have a volleyball match during that whole camp out and we invite all the campers in and it smells really bad in there. But we this year we didn't have a match during that. So I'm not really aware. I didn't really see any coverage of that. So all right,
Okay.
Dean has given
Dean's
us a
telling us
directive,
to
so I'll
mute.
mute everybody and
Okay. Cool.
Didn't hit that very loud, did I? What happens when you haven't done it in a while? Dean said you have to hit it harder so they can hear you. Welcome to the October 9th meeting of the Lexington Rotary Club. And it is a great day to be a Rotarian. Because remind yourselves every day that service above self is not an event or an action. It's a way of life. You're changing people's lives forever. I would like for our inspiration to bring up my good friend, Jeff Thompson. We'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test: is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Be beneficial to all concerned? Please see. My little talk today has to do with the time of year, fall. What does it mean to you? Halloween, Thanksgiving, colorful leaves. Maybe you no longer have to mow the yard every week. When I was younger, my favorite season was summer. Long daylight, warm temperatures. But as I've gotten older, I don't like those warm temperatures. Generally, in the fall, still relatively mild, at least into parts of November. And we have cool nights and cool mornings, and those are the things that I enjoy. I wanted to just share a few things I picked up on the internet, of course. Thoughts about the fall. The trees are about to show us how beautiful it is to let go. Autumn, the year's last, loveliest smile. A fallen leaf is nothing more than a summer's wave goodbye. Autumn leaves don't fall, they fly. My favorite color is October. Enjoy your fall.
Mike Baker, you'll come up, introduce our guest.
I don't know if that fall thing at my age, it's kind of scary. We have a visiting Rotaract today, which I'm very happy to have Travis Holtzfeld. Where are you, Travis? There you are. We have two visiting Rotarians. Percy Rosenboom from Jacksonville, Florida. Where are you? There he is. And coming all the way from Bardstown, Shannon Nally. Where are you, Shannon? There she is. The mayor brought a lot of her friends today, so I'm just going to have you all stand up. Would all guests of the Rotarians please stand and be recognized? We're going to say it as a group. Welcome to Rotary.
I told the mayor it's a good thing we got some meeting things to attend to because it took her like 30 minutes to get her lunch and walk up here because everybody wants a piece of her. So celebrating birthdays this week: Wanda Bertram, Susan Adams, Mark Holcomb, Naresh Shah, Wallace Barber, Eric Brooks, Ike Lawrence, Paul Chartier, Susie Basham. And next week, since we'll be doing Rotary differently, R.G. Conley, Jaron Johns, Lauren Manette, Jim Dundon, Joe Kenny, and today's birthday, Chris Anderson. So, whose phone would that be? So, Paul, how many bottles of bourbon are left? We have 6 bottles of bourbon that are still left, and we're selling for what's left of the Knob Creek Barrel Pick. Bottles are $100. Each purchaser gets entered into a pair of men's basketball tickets that we'll draw for on October 23rd, which is the next time we're here. So 6 left. A couple more things. Pickles and Pints. You should have information on the table. Pickles and Pints is November 15th. Sign up to play or volunteer. There's going to be an amateur version, I guess, and then a more than amateur. I don't know what that means. So if you're interested in helping in the Pickles and Pints, there's going to be a meeting afterwards. So look for Susie Basham. The other meeting after this meeting is a membership committee meeting. So Marcus Cross will be running that. The next thing I want to do is do the lottery, and my really good friend Tom Lester is here to do the lottery with us. What are all these tickets up here for? 203? 1,500. Oh, a bunch of numbers. The 3 of spades. I can't see and I can't hear. The last 3 numbers are 970. All righty. And the other number is 054. 054. Come on up.
Well, look at that.
Now, I trust you. This is Rotary. Here's your prize. Thanks for playing. The other thing that's on your table is the Spin to Win to End Polio. October 16th, Jenny Schnurr is going to be leading a bunch of really athletic people on bikes. It's part of our annual ride, second annual ride to raise funds to end polio. All the funds that we raise will be matched 2-to-1 by the Gates Foundation, and you will get credit for your donation. I also want to do, because I forgot to do it last week, and I just now remembered it because I didn't write it down, to welcome everybody on Zoom. Is Daryl on Zoom? It's amazing. Now I'd like to bring Jamie up to introduce our newest Rotarian.
Thank you, Jim. You're doing great. Thank you very much, Jim. Okay, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce Cliff Gookin, who will soon be our newest Rotarian. Tell you a little bit about Cliff.
Oh, God, here it comes.
Here we go. Get ready. Cliff came here with Lexmark several years ago. He has a background in finance, owns his own company, does a lot of consulting, went to fine school in California, Claremont McKenna, went to Harvard Business School, and does a lot of work with companies that are acquiring businesses in the pharmaceutical industry. He lives downtown. He's got a very accomplished family, and I'm going to take 1 minute to talk about it. His wife, Jill, you may know her. She works in wealth management, but she's also a community volunteer extraordinaire in social justice and arts area, her areas of interest. His daughter, Amanda, is a world-class cellist. I've heard her play. It's phenomenal. Daughter, Presley, is a dancer, actor, model. And if you go see the Christmas Story or Radio City Music Hall, you might see her there this year. Very accomplished. And son Clark served admirably with a lot of gusto in the Navy for 4 years. So very excited to have Cliff Gookin. He's going to do a great job. He can walk to Rotary, so I'm sure he'll have 100% attendance. So Cliff, welcome to Rotary. Thank you.
Then we have for our next newest member, and I've already assigned her a task, let you know that, Chris Anderson.
Got to adjust this mic. It's been about 15 years ago when I was inducted here as a new member by John McIntosh, and he introduced me as the father of Leah Anderson, who at that time was a 3-sport high school athlete at Lexington Christian Academy and often featured in the Herald Leader sports pages. So since then, she's come a long way. She went to college, played college basketball for 4 years. 3 of those years she played just about every position and drove the bus. She got her degree and then she went on to graduate school and she got her master's in occupational therapy, and she got the Servant Leader Award, which is for doing senior housing work in Johnson City, Tennessee. So she'll fit in right well here, I think. Now she's, after working in 2 hospital systems here in Lexington and Chicago for about 3 years, we convinced her to come back to Lexington. She opened up her practice about 3 years ago, Thrive Therapies. She provides in and outpatient occupational therapy, physical therapy, and speech. And she also works with autistic children, which is a kind of a little different niche for OTs. But anyway, she's been very successful with that. And most recently, she was one of our dancers this year at Dancing with Lexington Stars. She helped us raise a record amount. And she's here today with her sister, Kay, who's also an accomplished young lady, and her mother, Susan. What else can I say? You know, way to go, Mom. So with that, I'd like to be all to welcome Leah as a new member of the Rotary Club.
Chris, you don't know how much joy that brought me to watch a father of daughters introduce his daughter, and then as you recognize your other daughter, you got the look. I have two daughters and I get that look frequently. Even my granddaughters know how to give me a look. Couple other things quickly. Miracle League, the rained out opening day for us is being held this Saturday. And golly, 10 o'clock?
No. Yeah. The first game.
Okay, 10 o'clock's the first game. All right, thank you. The other couple things, we talked about this a month or so ago. There was a film premiere at the Kentucky Theater on November 6th called Join or Die. It's a documentary. It's a movie about the decline in civic clubs and social organizations over the last several decades and how important it is to bring them back. If you have nothing to do that night, 7:30 on November 6th, it's a really meaningful film, and I think you would appreciate it and be grateful that you're part of joining something. We also have November 20th, we're doing that third Thursday lunch at the Bluegrass Stockyards. And then the governor is going to be here for a late afternoon evening meeting on November the 12th. So you might know him. I don't know. It's a possibility. So now it's my great pleasure to introduce our mayor. So picture, if you will, it's the fall of 1967. It could happen. Oh, high tech. It's the fall of 1967, and a skinny guy from Louisville, Kentucky is playing music at the Two Keys. And this really, really attractive young woman who's a freshman, I don't know how she got in there. It could happen. Is it the truth? It could happen. My story is that she met this guy named Charlie that night in the bar and turned me down. Somebody said, you know, who knows? She might be mayor someday. It could happen. All you got, read the wheel horse. The number of people that hugged her and said hello say a whole lot about the quality of the mayor that we have. Hypothetically, let's say I got a call in January saying we'd like for you to write a song about the 250th anniversary. So I recruited this fabulous young man that's a member of her staff who spoke here a couple of years ago, who's a hip hop artist. And you know, when you go to a baseball game, every batter has walkout music. They choose the song that's going to play. So as you leisurely walk up here, we have some walkout music. Wait for the big finish. I love this city. I love this city.
Thank you. Jim told me, he said, you knew you weren't going to escape. Oh my gosh, I am thrilled to be here. Thank you very much. Thank you to all of you. I always enjoy coming to the Rotary, and something that you said in the very beginning, service above self, took me back to pre-1967 when I was the president of a club in high school that was SOS Club, service over self. So it took me right back there, but I really welcome the opportunity to be with you and to update you on some of the many things that are going on here, and also to hear about your priorities. And we love the partnerships that Rotary has throughout our community. It's one of the things that makes us a great place. So, has anybody heard here that it is our 250th birthday? Yes. Well, you know, when we were thinking about this a couple years ago, about what to do to celebrate, someone said to us, well, 50 years ago for the 200th, there was a big celebration one weekend. And I said, what? Oh, we've got to do more than that. So we've been going all year, having wonderful events. And, you know, I think about Rotary Club here in Lexington, founded in 1915. You are one of our, I was going to say old, but it is an old organization that's been going on for quite a while. So, since its earliest days, I really appreciate that Rotary Club has been involved in moving Lexington forward. That is what I'm focused on every single day, and I know that you are too. And so I love and I'm thrilled that your service above self tradition continues. One of the things I think about is, most of you probably know this already and remember it, but Rotary is involved with our rainwater water quality garden in Kennewood. And Kennewood Park is a well-used park, and we love your partnership there. And you provided funding for plants and an irrigation system for the garden and many, many volunteer hours. So thank you. This is one of many projects you have done for our community. Now, in addition to a great excuse to talk about our year-long celebration, our 250th birthday is a real opportunity to take stock of what's gone on in Lexington, what we still need to do, and where we're going in the future. This was our thought all along, is look at the past, honor it. We know some of our past has not been particularly good. Talk about it, celebrate the current situation, and look to the future. So I want to start by throwing a few numbers at you. I know you all like numbers, right? And statistics. So our economy here is very strong right now, and it's growing. June set records as the highest employed month in our entire history. We had 172,862 people employed in Fayette County. That is huge. Between 2020 and 2024, the number of people employed in Fayette County grew by almost 11,000 people. In Fayette County, between 2020 and 2023, the median household income grew by over $7,100. The per capita income is up by over $10,000. And our gross domestic product, and when I heard this, I said, oh, we've got to double check that. That can't be true. Our gross domestic product here in Fayette County grew by $2.4 billion. That represents work, jobs, the economy. And one of my jobs always is to look at these numbers and to do everything I can do with my teams in government to make sure we grow. And so I tend to keep the pedal to the metal. And this is all about economic development. And we work every day to attract jobs. And many of you are a huge part of this effort and supporting the businesses that we have and bringing new businesses in. So Lexington's economy, as you know, is also affected by the national economy, which at this moment appears to be slowing. We are all seeing this. It is across the country, we are seeing layoffs happen. We're seeing businesses close. We're seeing the uncertainty about things being funded. Right now, we are still very strong here. So we know it is a place where our diverse economy and our diverse clusters of jobs helps us in downturns. It makes us more resilient. We are not just one thing here. We are not just manufacturing. We are not just like some cities, one area of economy. So we're starting to invest a good bit in new opportunities for businesses. Coldstream Research Park, many of you are familiar with UK's efforts out there. Our own city's legacy business park is now under development. This is bounded by I-75 and Georgetown Street. It's the old UK dairy farm, if you know where that is. And so we are developing that right now. Our new regional business authority, I don't know if you're aware of what we have done. My first year as mayor, I started partnering with Madison County and Scott County because we looked at the demographics and we learned that we have very common job statistics, people, the demographics and all of that. So we started by submitting a joint grant, which in the end we didn't get, but we liked each other as partners. Fayette, Madison, Scott counties, and the city of Berea have formed a new regional business authority. We are a nonprofit. We have our board established, and we have already invested in property for this park in Berea. It's a 300-acre site right next to the Berea Industrial Park. And we are evaluating and looking at a second site to go into the authority. And it is an 800-acre site in northern Madison County. All of the partners will benefit from these investments. And this is a regional effort, which we think is really one of the best ways to do that. With private and public partners, we're also working to make Lexington and Kentucky a hub nationally for ag tech. Now, this is an effort to give challenge grants to startup companies and companies that are working on new products, and it's all related to agriculture. And it is spreading throughout Kentucky. We're having great successes. It's all tech, the University of Kentucky College of Ag, Lexington, Fayette County, and the Kentucky Department of Ag. We have been working on this very successfully since about 2019. So a new study that came out about a month or two ago shows that right here in Fayette County, the agriculture and agriculture-related jobs contribute $2.6 billion annually to our economy, 2.6 billion. And when you think about it, most cities don't have farmland. We're very blessed because we're merged, city, county, and we get the city and the county. And so this is why it is important for these farm businesses to be strong. And it is why we try to protect our farmland, our business land that's in the farms. In addition to the economic contribution of agriculture, the thoroughbreds, which are on some of these farms, drive our tourism. Mary Quinn Raymer will tell you when they survey visitors to Lexington, they always ask, what's the #1 site that you saw or are going to see? It is always the horse farms, always, for years. This tourism industry, which involves not only the farms, but a lot of other things, set a record in 2024, $1.7 billion in tourism here. And that is mostly people who come from out of town. So we like those dollars especially. The basic foundation of any kind of progress in our community, and I like to say this a lot because people need to hear it, is public safety. It is our number one job as government. And I fully believe that to be a good or a great city, you first have to be safe. If you are not safe, people will not go to the arts. They will not go to the parks. They will not eat out in your restaurants. And so through all these years, particularly in 2020, when I was asked, are you going to defund the police? I said, no. If we need social workers, we'll add them. If we need mental health specialists, we will add them. Our police and fire and corrections and E911 and emergency management remain one of the strongest public safety systems in the country. And so recently, you, I know, are aware that we have added some new technology to help with our public safety. We've put in more services. We have improved recruiting, and we have put more money into salaries for our public safety folks. And we like to invest in the best equipment for them because they're the ones doing this work. You know about the Flock license plate readers. These have been a game changer in helping our police solve crimes. And I think if we survey this group or the big city about crime, people would say they want us to solve crime. And so these kinds of technologies, we think, serve as a police force multiplier. And they make our police more efficient. And I just want to say a couple statistics about this system of Flock license plate readers. Since 2022, we have been able to cut the time in half that it takes to recover a stolen vehicle. Recovering vehicles valued at $5.1 million. That's all stolen vehicles that we have recovered. The increase in the clearance rate for homicides has gone way up. When I first became mayor, we were clearing a homicide. That means solving it, finding the person who committed it, and getting it through the courts. The rate was about 45%. Right now, it's 95%. This is huge. And then we have assisted returning 29 missing persons to their families, and we've taken 145 firearms off the street. Those were all firearms that were found in vehicles that were doing criminal activity. This is a huge success story. And I have also expanded, you mentioned that wrapper I have in my office, the role of One Lexington, which addresses youth and young adult gun violence throughout our community. We know that most gun violence here, and get ready, hold on to your seat, is committed by those who are ages 10 to 29. And that is why we call it youth and young adult gun violence. Compared with the 2022 statistics to our current 2025 numbers, our records show a 61% decrease in homicides and a 62% decrease in overall shooting victims. Now, yes, this is great progress. Now, I will say no homicide or shooting is ever acceptable, but we are working and our numbers are going in the correct direction. We have worked hand in hand with downtown businesses, Downtown Lexington Partnership, and the Downtown Lexington Management District. These partnerships have helped us address safety issues. And through these partnerships, we've increased our police presence, hired private security for Phoenix Park. I hope you've seen it. It's just been opened as a redone, beautiful park. Henry Tandy Centennial Park, the Courthouse Plaza. We've increased lighting and we've added additional cameras. all these things improve public safety for everyone, and it makes our downtown a better place. A few years ago, a couple years ago, a mayor of another city in Kentucky came over about 5 o'clock for a ceremony that we were having, and he said, "There are a lot of people on the street walking on the sidewalks." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "Is it like this every day?" And I said, "It is like this every day." And he said, "What about night?" And I said, "There are masses of people out enjoying the restaurants, the bars, the activities." And it said a lot to me because he was leading another city that did not have quite that situation. So together, our police and fire departments and our E911 have officially launched the Community Crisis Co-Response Team. This team assists our police with mental health related phone calls. This is very interesting, and you'll remember back in 2020 or so, people were saying a lot of the E911 calls were for mental health, and they are. And so we've figured out a way to triage this so that ambulances and this co-response team go along with the police officer, and they are having great successes. Next, I wanted to mention our community paramedicine program, which many of you are familiar with. It is in its 8th year, and it is reducing the burden of our frontline ambulances. It used to be that anyone who had any situation would call 911, and we discovered that a lot of people who were going to the emergency room did not have emergencies. So I have been a big supporter. Many of you know I'm a registered nurse, and I've been a big supporter of community paramedicine because what they are doing is they are going to the people who have a call, but it's not an emergency. And it's a wide variety of calls, and this has greatly expanded because we have a huge need and has taken the pressure off of our emergency rooms. It now addresses unique needs of those struggling with substance abuse, behavioral health issues, chronic system involvement, delivering care. Some people call and say, I can't get my medications open. It's everything. And they don't have anyone else to turn to. And then the other thing I wanted to mention in the public safety is we added our 13th, we call them EC units, that's an ambulance, to our fleet. We had not added a new ambulance since 2018. They're, as you might imagine, very expensive, but we've looked at the numbers of phone calls and trips that the EC units are making. It's thousands and thousands a year. And so we added that first ambulance, number lucky 13th. We are also investing a lot in quality of life. And many of you know this is a banner year for parks. In the spring, the city opened Kelly's Landing down on the Kentucky River. It is our first river park ever. And people have access to go paddleboarding, kayaking, canoeing. It's all quiet. There are no motors there. And if you have not been, it is beautiful. There's an 11-mile stretch from lock to lock, and it's a lovely, beautiful place to be on the water. This summer, we opened a new pool at Douglas Park. We reinvented Phoenix Park, as I mentioned earlier. We joined in the celebration of Gatton Park on the town branch, which is, as you know, privately funded. And this morning, early, we opened Cardinal Run North, the first new regional park we have opened in 25 years. If you know Parker's Mill, you know that we have Cardinal Run South, which I believe has the Miracle League. And then it now connects across Parker's Mill to Cardinal Run North. And Cardinal Run North has lots of amenities for people and families. Next year, we're opening our second senior center. It will also have Hartley Therapeutic Center, and it will be in Shiloh Park, right next to the fire station there. And we are really excited because our Life Lane Senior Center is packed. And then I wanted to talk a moment about one of the challenges that we're getting ready to ramp up our attention to, and that is homelessness prevention and intervention. We have done a lot in the past. Many of you know that we own the Hope Center and that we fund the Hope Center. That was done a few decades ago because of the need for emergency shelter. And we have worked very hard on veteran homelessness in particular, because there are a lot of VA services that if we find someone who's a veteran who's homeless, we can get them right into housing and into services. So here in Fayette County, we have effectively ended veteran homelessness. Now, what we're going to do is I've appointed a homelessness task force. It begins its work this month, and I want us to look at a more creative way to consider homelessness. And my goal is to lower the number of people in homelessness. We're looking at Houston, Bowling Green, Northern Kentucky. These places all have programs that are working, and they have lowered their homeless numbers tremendously. And we think we can do that here. In a related area, and I'm almost to the end, is affordable housing. So we have added almost 3,700 new affordable houses or apartments in the last few years. We know we need a lot more. And we're involved with partnerships with some of the entities that like to build affordable housing. And, you know, many of these people who live in affordable housing are on vouchers. Many of them are elderly, and they're living on a teeny tiny itty bitty income. And so, just to kind of close this, and this is really what I would call the tip of the iceberg of some things that we're doing. Partnerships are what make us run. And we learned that big time during the pandemic. And they help us address complex problems. We have complex issues here. And I don't know if there are any other nurses in the audience, but the way we look at things is we see the patient and assess the patient. Patient has symptoms of health and wellness. This patient may have symptoms of places that aren't so healthy and well. We develop the action plan and then we go to work and do it. It's kind of a simple concept, but it works. And so I come from a team mentality, and we have awesome teams in government and in the community. So I like to close with something that I haven't used in a while. A good friend of ours who was in ROTC with my husband, going back to the time era that you brought up, Jim. He sent me, when I got elected as mayor the first time, he sent me a quote. And I since learned that it was Thomas Edison's quote. I didn't know at the time. But here's how it goes. Many opportunities are missed because they come dressed in overalls and they look like work. Think about it. And we're not afraid of work. I will outwork anybody. And because I think it is part of my duty as a servant leader. And so this is all to say that our city is in really good shape. We still have things to work on, and we'll keep working on them. And I don't know if I have time for questions, maybe one or two.
If we could, I got Kim Johnson and our newest member, Lynn. We're gonna grab microphones real quick. And we'll get the
I
questions.
know I took a little bit of time, didn't I? But there's a lot going on. Our budget just in the general fund is 540 million. Plus you layer on sewers and all that, it's almost 900 million. So there's a few more things going on.
Questions?
Surely there is one.
Yeah. While she's walking over there, I want to thank you. I live in Workfield too, and I have seen a huge increase in the officers on the bikes, the sheriffs walking around. It's been very nice.
Good.
Thank you. Over you.
Hi.
I'm from Austin Pieces. Looking back to public safety in your relationship with law enforcement, More so recent in the past 2 weeks, I didn't say in 2 weeks, was 16 years last year. What you in the city doing to build our relationship with law enforcement to help try to prevent or address this abuse of violence?
With our police
Yes.
department. Well, you mentioned shootings, and what, I will go back to this flop and the technology. That has been in place now across the city. We have about 125 of those license plate readers. Frequently, when the shootings occur, there are automobiles involved for getaway. And that we continue to keep that ramped up. We have added what we call our real-time intelligence center in the police department. And it helps us keep on top of that. We have what we call street outreach teams. Anytime there is a shooting, and this is back to Divine Karama and One Lexington, anytime there is a shooting. Now, I want you to think about this. They have street outreach teams that immediately go out, daytime, nighttime, early morning, and they go to the home of the families that have been impacted. And they're having very gradual, slow improvement, because we know that people who've been impacted by violence then have other issues. For one, they may want to get out of their neighborhood. They don't feel safe. We're helping with a lot of those services. Divine and his team work inside the schools. They do mentoring, they do mediation. We think the key is to get to the kids early before they get involved in this kind of violence. And so we have a lot of social workers who are involved in this, and we just keep after it. Yeah.
One more. With respect to the shootings of violence, do you think that if we could decrease the notoriety and the TV and radio production of what happens during those cases, if that had any impact on the number of problems that you think is possible to decrease that notoriety of various media sources?
Well, I don't control the media. That is for sure. And I do think, though, in relation to that, what's even worse is social media. I have kind of a love-hate relationship with social media. I have to be on Facebook as a mayor and a public official. And people on social media will say things to you that they would never say to you to your face, ever. And I think that drives some of that. I know that in Lexington, our wonderful police chief, Lawrence Weathers, will tell you that almost 100% of the shootings are people who know each other. They are not random. And so this is working out beefs that they have, whether it's over a drug deal, whether it's over a girlfriend, whatever it is, they know each other. And so that it's not good, but it's better than random. Some cities have random crime like that, but unfortunately I can't control the media. But it's a good question, because you're saying it just kind of perpetuates it. Yeah, thank you all very much.
And now I get to present a gift many years later. Linda, this is a.
No.
No, this is.
Picture of the two keys, right?
It's a lithograph by Bill Strauss, and you can add this to your collection. And I had a whole list of accolades that our city has been recognized for just in the last 4 or 5 years that I was going to read, but we don't have time. And Jamie is over there going, I never went past 1 o'clock. Anyway. But here's, this is not political. This is just personal. The fact that we have a mayor who won the last election with 71% of the vote speaks to the fact that this is a woman who spent her early career in healthcare. She still cares about people. That's why she's a member of Rotary. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're adjourned.